Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Not Another Freaking Podcast. That's right, we dropped wrestling from the title, and I'll explain a little bit more here in a minute. But to start it off, I'm JD, and my lawyer will let me speak on this podcast.
And I, Mr. NDA, cannot speak on stuff on this podcast. So, Shane Daniels.
And I'm Will Diamond, and I'm being forced to overshoot my bit. And actually, no, it's not going to work. Jayke.
And I'm Jayke. Look at my eyes. What do you see? Well, my boy CM Punk is back on Fed TV.
My bit died
That
for
was
that.
your bit?
I'm so upset.
The bit was dumb.
God damn.
Segue into the first segment, you fucking nerd.
No, and my segue was going to be, and I'm Will Diamond, and to kick off Not Another Freaking Podcast, let's talk about some pro wrestling.
Oh,
So, yeah, let's double back real quick. Not Another Freaking Podcast. We have dropped wrestling from the title. Not to say that we won't discuss wrestling on this podcast, because obviously we're about to talk about Pepsi Phil, but we want to be able to open up more topics, and this allows us to do that without having to talk about wrestling every single episode. Because until the return of Pepsi Phil, I think all of us were getting a little burnt out. And
Yeah.
I think I'm more burnt out now.
I was definitely fucking getting burnt out on. Really, the only company that wasn't burning me out was DDT, and it's only because they had recently started to get back on track. But they happened to get back on track when everyone else jumped ship. And so it's definitely a lull point for all of us in pro wrestling where, yeah, we're still watching, yeah, we still care, but it's not engaging enough to make a full topic for the show going forward.
Yeah, because I got back into watching it again and was going to live shows. Went to my first pay-per-view ever, SummerSlam.
Really? That was your first pay-per-view?
Yep, live pay-per-view. Yeah. And so that was cool. Got to do that with my son. We traveled to Lexington to watch AEW. So yeah, just watching all this wrestling is just really burning me out.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be watching every week. I just don't want to talk about it every week when I come on this podcast with you guys, because we have a lot more things we can talk about. Having said that, let's talk about wrestling.
Fucking Philip.
Jayke, this is you're happier than a fucking
Pig and shit.
yeah.
Truly blown
Which is-
away that he was too.
why?
I thought,
Something eventually had to happen that I liked.
yeah, but I didn't think it would be that. Because to me, him going to AEW was way more monumental of a moment because, cool, they got him back. Whereas now that he's back there, it's just like, cool, so your words have zero validity and you are just a worm.
See, it's not even the hypocrisy of it so much for me. It's the fact that it's just like, I don't care.
That too.
He kind of
There's not a
showed me who
single
he
matchup
was.
I want.
And he showed me who he was in AEW. An overgrown man-child who settles his problems with his fists instead of his words. That's just my opinion. But having said that, I do believe that wrestling is more interesting with him involved, unfortunately.
He's always going to move the needle.
So,
Always.
I'm going to watch and all that good stuff. But, man, I don't know. I don't need Pepsi Phil in 2023.
Okay,
I don't either. I had mentioned it to you guys earlier a week ago after he had first popped back up that it was really magical and cool when he first came back in AEW. But out of that kind of 2-ish years, year one was cool. The second he entered the orbit of the world title is when it all unraveled for me. Because none of his matches were, outside of a handful to me, were particularly great when he came back. Like, they weren't bad matches, but they weren't anything that I would note like, wow, that was a fucking clinic, outside of maybe the dog collar match with MJF.
I mean, I enjoyed the Wembley match.
Him and Samoa Joe were good. That was a good match.
Yes, but I do think it was heavily tainted by them having already done their shit on Collision and having the first time Punk has finally beaten Joe clean off of a roll-up. No, I'm sorry, that's terrible.
No, I would have if I was booking that, I definitely would have did a thing where, hey, you have to have him beat, you got to beat me to get a title shot, and blah blah blah, and then have him win at Wembley. That's how I would have did that, because then it would have meant more in front of that crowd. Why blow it on a fucking Collision?
Yeah, and it just, I don't know, that kind of key aspect about it to me just felt very odd that they would do that. But yeah, I mean, they had a solid match, and even the Collision one was solid outside the finish.
So tell me this, guys, if you felt the same way I did when they announced a 3-hour Raw, or Raw, 3 hours every week, but the first hour is commercial free. CM Punk's gonna have a live microphone, and you're thinking that motherfucker's gonna open the show and cut an hour-long promo and have that.
Oh,
not
that
an hour-long
pissed
promo,
me
but
off.
He's gonna have that hour. That's what you're thinking when you're going in. Instead, we got a tag team turmoil match that wasn't bad, but it was a letdown because it wasn't what you were turning it on for. Then we had a mediocre Raw up until the last 10 minutes, where he got on the microphone and said, "I'm home and I've changed." Neither of those I believe. Neither of those statements I believe. If he's talking about change in the last 10 years since he left WWE, sure, I'll give him that. He probably has. If he's talking about in the last 3 months since he left AEW, he probably has not. And the "I'm home" part sounds corny as fuck, which leads me to believe it's a setup for him to turn heel.
Oh yeah, that's why I think, because he closed out the promo with the whole, "I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money."
Which is the first truthful thing he said in wrestling in like a long time.
A long time.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here. I mean, I'm excited that he's back. I'm glad he's home, quote unquote. I think, as far as you guys saying, he may not change. Well, I've changed, but
I don't want him to change.
There's sometimes though that people push those right fucking buttons that make me go back to the old person that I was. And the management, from what I hear there, is very loose in AEW. Whereas in WWE, they know how to handle it. They know how to keep
how they should handle it, though? They should sign Jack Perry.
No, look, I get that they know how to handle it, but he should also know how to handle himself.
That's my big thing, is like, if you're going to sit here and say, I am the biggest and most legitimate star in pro wrestling today, then conduct yourself like it. But if you want to beat up Jack Perry, by all means, beat up Jack Perry, but don't grandstand. Like, just beat the shit out of that twink and go about your day. Like the rest of working class America does.
So,
do we?
Yeah, I beat up a Nepo baby like every day before my shift.
So now that we've said our piece, let's shoot it over to Jayke, because he was super excited,
and I want to hear his.
And I want to hear what he has to say too. So, Jayke, the floor is yours. If your camera isn't for us. Are you serious?
What a moment.
Are you kidding me?
A moment.
I gave like this great intro and everything.
You have got
fantastic.
Oh, I was gonna take one, but you got it.
Good. Because that has to be the best possible thing for him to be frozen on. Also, now I'm just getting a screenshot of me clawing my face.
So, Jake, I gave you like this great intro to talk about
Great
CM Punk,
segue.
Fucking
and
killer segue.
your fucking computer froze, and I'm like, what
We were
the
talking
fuck?
to your smiling face.
So
Like you're so excited to get past the baton.
Yeah, so let's try this again. All right.
This is where he should have been. He should have never left to begin with. Like this, like ranked right up there with me with like Brett showing up on Raw again. Like you're gonna bury him for coming back and calling him a hypocrite and shit. That'd be fucking. The same thing with Brett coming back. Same thing with Cody coming back.
Oh yeah, I don't care about the hypocrisy. That doesn't mean shit to me. Everybody says they're gonna leave somewhere. They're never gonna come back when they leave.
Right.
That's
It's
par for the course.
specifically just I'm okay that he has settled his bridges from 9 years ago. It's the fact that he was talking all that mess during his AEW tenure about them and being like, no, you guys are so morally bankrupt and blah, 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 blah. And now he's going to headline a Blood Money show when he's one of the ones that coined the term.
What excites you the most about Punk being back, Jake?
Him coming back, the fact that there's somebody that I give a shit about seeing again that's not going to get done dirty. Like, they consistently do the ones I like dirty. And
I think they're going to do him dirty.
Huh?
I think they're going to do him dirty.
Think so?
Mm-mm.
At least this year. I think this is just me. I was spitballing Becca there tonight. This is my thoughts on it. I think he's going to go on to face Seth at Rumble or at WrestleMania. I don't know how, but he's going to eat that L in the main event on night one.
No, he's not.
He's going to eat the L. You want to know why? Because it's going to show he can play ball. He's going to eat that L, and then he's going to take the title later. But it's going to show that he can play ball, and he's going to get his WrestleMania main event. That's all he cares about. That's all he cared about. He didn't care about winning the WrestleMania main event. He cared about being in it.
Yeah, he wanted
So
to
he's
be
going
on
to get that
last
WrestleMania main event. He's going to eat that L to Seth to show that he's willing to play ball, and then he's going to get the title later.
I think kind of the opposite. I think he's obviously getting that night one main event. But why would you sacrifice you've got two really solid women's champions right now, and I'm sorry, but no. Punk should be a fucking opener match where he belongs. But regardless, he'll get the main event. I think he's going to get the belt because WWE wants to show that they'll play ball with him. They're going to give him everything he wants right out the gate, so then they can do what needs to be done with him, which is a 6-month Miz feud.
Ugh.
I mean, he did 91 million views, most viewed video in WWE history. If I'm not mistaken, I think he still holds the record for merchandise sales too.
So yeah, he's been moving insane shit since he came back. But I also think he'll get it because they're clearly, now that they've got 2 world titles and they're incapable of keeping one on a part-timer at any given moment. So here's the trade. Cody gets the Universal, so we have a full-time world champion, while Punk gets the world heavyweight and goes on the part-time defense schedule.
Now, there's also the possibility that apparently they're in talks. They're trying with Stone Cold to do the dream match with CM Punk at WrestleMania. That could also be an avenue
too late.
Take.
It's too late for
and
that.
Also, we still don't know where Raw's going to land. That's still up in the air, and
or
they're going to do.
SmackDown's going to be on USA.
Oh, did they already finalize that?
Yeah, that's already announced.
Then yeah, there's no. I don't know where Raw will go because they're very clearly trying to hedge up the offer by very publicly talking about the Warner Brothers deal.
Monday Night SmackDown does not sound very.
Wait, is it?
No.
Is it really?
No. They haven't announced a night for it or anything yet.
Oh.
Monday Night
it's
SmackDown
still more than a year away. So. But I mean, there's a lot of directions they go. Punk, I personally think he's going to eat that L at WrestleMania, just so he can show he'll play ball, and then he'll take it in whatever country they end up in for one of those pay-per-views.
You want to put money on it?
Maybe. Hit me up off the air.
If Rollins versus Punk does happen
the match
for Mania, because if it happens at the Rumble, which I honestly assumed is where it would go down, I don't think Punk will get it because I think they have something bigger for Punk at Mania. But how do y'all feel about, in the year of our Lord and Savior 2024, having Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Punk?
Let the man rest. Austin's done enough. Leave him alone.
He already had that banger with Owens where Owens was
I think him and
bumping his
Owens
ass
should be the
off.
last match, yeah. Him and Owens should be the last match he has, because that was incredible.
Yeah, let Kevin have that to hang his hat on.
Well, that was a good conversation about fucking wrestling that we were moving away from.
It is, which now brings us to our very, very pressing topic.
Peter Griffin.
The horse is here.
So, if you haven't kept up, Peter Griffin's now in Fortnite. To preface all this, though, Fortnite did their Big Bang event, which was the end of the OG season.
How
and
was
the start
that?
of Chapter 5.
I didn't like it.
Did you play it? You played the Big Bang event?
No, I watched and I saw the Guitar Hero and
dude, I was
Rocket
so pissed.
League, and
I was so pissed because like they've done some great events in the past, like the Thanos event and shit. They've done, and the big block rolling around the map. They've done some great live events in the past, but then they started mailing it in at some point. Like they did the Galactus event where you were on rails the whole time and you were riding battle buses. You shot things at Galactus, and it gave you the illusion of playing.
Honestly, I even liked that one.
Well, that was the first one where I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then they haven't done a live event since that one until yesterday's live event at 2 p.m. Called the Big Bang. Huh?
This whole chapter start, they had a very long live event that was really tedious.
What are you talking about?
Whenever this chapter started, not the season, the whole chapter, and they blew up the map with the core and then had literally lassoed together the new map.
Yeah, you're right.
That one was terrible. But no, normally it's just like a cutscene now.
Yeah, so like, but this one was just like, they had an Eminem performance, which was like a song and a half.
Which was stupid.
And he started off with Lose Yourself, and then it flipped into a
Godzilla.
It was weird.
He has a Godzilla song?
The song's called Godzilla.
Yeah, yes. The song was Godzilla, but it was really weird.
It's got
and he was
like
world
in it, and
yeah, he was huge, and you were like looking up at him, and you could only see his head while he was performing. It was really strange. And then it just kind of flipped you through a whole Guitar Hero thing that made no sense. And then you went through some portals, and it showed you gave you a preview of the new Lego mode. It gave you a preview of the new racing mode they're going to do. And then it held you in a little spot for 3 minutes, and then it hit square to exit. And when I did, it took me back to the queue and told me to wait for 2 hours. So
I mean, that's about on brand, because typically when they end, they're like, that was cool, wasn't it? Aren't you excited for the new season? Go away.
No, I think my favorite one was the Travis Scott one.
Well, that was a concert. It wasn't a live event.
Yeah, but still.
Like this live event was just garbage. It really was. It was.
I only did
Galactus.
2 songs.
It was fun.
He only did a song and a half because he started Lose Yourself, and then like a big version of Eminem shot up, and like the whole place like got destroyed, and then Eminem started rapping Godzilla over you. It was. Yeah.
And they gave him 3
like his
different
face was like this close.
It was like this is all you could see. It was dumb. It was very dumb. So like but Chapter 5 came out today. Chapter 5 Season 1. I played today. I got my first dub in my first match. What up? But then I found Peter Griffin on the map on my second match, and he bodied me.
So is he like a boss character, kind of like Wolverine?
Yeah, you can get a gold shotgun from him if you kill him. That's the problem. You have to kill him. And I had him almost dead, and then he did this little like disco dance thing and had full health again. And so I ran away because I was like, nah, fuck that. This motherfucker can just regenerate health. Nah. And then he chased me down and killed me.
Who?
So, Peter Griffin. Peter fucking, like, muscle man Peter Griffin. Not fat Peter Griffin.
Yeah, because they don't have normal Peter. It's muscly Peter because they didn't want to rework it around a brand new model. So they just forced Peter to fit regular Fortnite model.
If they would have had a fat Peter, you could have, it gives you a bigger target area to shoot.
I don't
Not
care.
necessarily, because some of those hitboxes on those big characters are this big.
Exactly.
And they're like this big.
Just give me shitty hitboxes on Peter and break the meta.
So, like, Peter bodied my ass, though. And so I was like, all right, I got to go back there. I can beat him. Man, I went back there 4 fucking times after that. He killed my ass every fucking time. Except for one time, someone else killed him. And then when I ran up to try to kill him, to kill them, he was doing the and then they shot me in the face with his shotgun and I died.
That is hilarious that he does the thing from the show.
It's fantastic, dude. I could
he's
not
got the
believe
Peter copter for his glider in the shop.
Yes.
In the battle pass, which also
really?
as the bonus character for this season, we get Solid Snake with a extremely MGS1 design too.
I will say something. Fortnite has the best multiverse there is.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, I think because I like that the multiverse aspect is a very key and integral part of the plot where, yeah, you got Ariana Grande and fucking RoboCop and Peter Griffin all in a trio together. But while these individual characters don't fit in, why they keep adding
while
people.
We're talking about it, you have to watch this, or not watch this, but see the meme.
So I'm pretty excited about this chapter of Fortnite. Like, they added, the new map is incredible. So they added a whole, like, it's a brand new map. They added a train to the map, so you can land on the train and, like, it's get shit from it. It's got like a heist thing you can get from it.
I'm so big on the train.
You played with the riot shield? Because that looked fucking dope.
I had one in my inventory, but I didn't use it earlier because I didn't have a reason to use it at the time. But I mean, I'm excited for this new map. I haven't been everywhere. I've only been to like a couple of different places on the map so far, but map looks incredible. The game looks, they've added new mechanics. There's different upgrades or mods for your weapons now.
I know they did the movement. They changed the movement up a little bit. Made it
Yes, it feels a lot more fluid. Mantling is...
You can mantle through windows now. You can actually mantle through windows instead of like having to fucking tear down a wall and then go through it. Yeah. So that's cool. I'm really excited for the way they've changed it. The mechanics feel more fluid and smooth.
Now, I haven't got to play, but I'll tell you one weapon that looked really cool was the sword and the fucking...
The grappling hook?
Yes.
I've only used it for grappling purposes. I still haven't actually, like, busted it out for a fight. But it is it's neat. I liked it. So far, everything that they've added that I've messed around with for this season, I very much enjoy. The movements being updated, which I don't know if you noticed, but they completely reworked crouching.
Yeah.
So it's not just, for those that don't know, previously in Fortnite, when you crouched, it's not going to give anybody any kind of indicators, both visually or audibly, that someone is walking around near you, and you're just going at a fraction less of the speed, whereas now you're actually, it's still all those same benefits, but you actually move slow like a proper crouch should feel.
I think I'm really excited. They didn't have it like launched it yet, but the new Lego mode starts in like 4 days. Where
I'm
it's like
interested to see what that's going to be because in the little trailer that looked cool.
I was more excited about the racing, but going back
racing
to
looks fun too.
Going back to the Lego thing, some of my favorite games were like, even my son growing up, we would play Lego Star Wars, Lego Batman, fucking all that stuff. Those games are fun as hell. So it was cool to see Lego Fortnite. So
Which,
Yeah,
I mean, they're inevitably going to release like actual sets of that, and I'm sure that's going to do numbers for Lego.
they already have sets.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they've had sets for a while.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to that though. That looks interesting, but it means a lot of building, and I don't like building in Fortnite. I'm exclusively a zero build player at this point.
I like to play and build, but I will not build. I just like to play and build because everyone else in those modes sucks at shooting.
Yeah, builds people can't shoot. I like when I join your party and you and Bentley are builds. I clean up.
Oh,
I'll get like fucking 10 kills and shit in build modes. But in no builds, like I don't know. I've always preferred the skill of not being able. I don't have the skill of building really quickly and building elaborate shit to kill you. I have the skill of being able to aim well and kill you.
I've never played with you guys. I think I should play.
You absolutely
We
need
should
to.
definitely get you in on the party one night.
I can come in my favorite skin, which is Mouscles.
Oh,
Nice.
bet. I'm just gonna.
I do tune Mouscles though.
We'll do
Good.
different. We'll do different Mousels. All of us.
I'm a stickler for the skins must be coordinated for the squad.
Yeah, we coordinate our skins.
I'm such a fan of Mouscles. I even have a Mouscles Christmas ornament.
Hell yeah. Now I've got like 4 different versions of him, and I know our near and dear friend of the podcast, Richard Jenkins, does as well.
So, moving right along from the Fortnite talk, which, they said it would die after the OG season, and I was in a 20-minute queue just to get in today. So
I think there's going to be a massive player drop because they not only did they go straight back to what they were doing before, but it is an even more expanded version of what they were doing previously. So I think they're going to lose a lot of people.
They had over 10 million people online today.
So that's pretty crazy.
My thing about Epic is Epic knows what they're doing. Yep. They literally
kind of
Gears of War 1 and Gears of War 2 are hands down the best 2 because Epic made those. And the movement and the way it plays and all that stuff, it was so fluid. But then after they left and all that shit went down and it went to the other company, Gears just sucked.
So, William, what did you have to talk to us about again?
So, since I felt it was very beautifully poetic that the one song that Eminem did do in its, I guess, entirety was Godzilla, because that's what the fuck I have to talk about. Everybody, grab your kids, grab your wife, grab your husband, niece, nephew, aunt and uncle, cousins, siblings, grab everyone, grab homeless people off the fucking street and take them to your nearest movie theater and go see Godzilla Minus One. The best motherfucking movie of the entire year. I still haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon, but I think Scorsese gets his dick sucked too much. He's not that good. And out of everything, because this year I do feel like I did an overall good job of actually keeping up with new releases movie-wise. And there was so little that had come out this year that came even fucking close to delivering just a whole cinema experience of you laugh, you cry, you wow, you gasp. everything. Godzilla wrecking shit looked phenomenal. It's the first ever fucking Godzilla movie to actually have a compelling human element that you actually give a fuck about these characters, what happens to them, because it drives a lot of focus on what if we actually made a Godzilla movie that is about the ramifications of Godzilla and how it affects these people. 15 out of 10 movie. Everyone should go see it.
15 out of 10?
15 out of 10. Dare I even say
Sounds
16?
plausible. Sounds plausible.
So fucking good. Because it's kind of like a walk back on Godzilla origin, so it's not really connected to any of the old ones, definitely not connected to the US shit, and it doesn't have any tie-in to Shin Godzilla, the last one that came out, but it's set during the tail end and then the following days of World War II, and it's centering around a disgraced failed kamikaze pilot that's coming back from war to a freshly carpet bombed city. And so you just get like that kind of human struggle first before Godzilla even really re-enters play.
I'll have to check this out. It sounds pretty good.
It's fan-fucking-tastic, and all on a budget of, with kind of equivalency exchange, that's about 15 million US dollars for the budget. And the fact that everything else that I thought evoked anything close to what I felt watching this cost at least 4 times that budget.
Speaking of Godzilla, though, they announced, or they dropped a trailer for the Godzilla Kong New Empire movie. And I haven't watched it, but just reading the comic, it looks like, or a comment, somebody says they're going to tag team against King Scar. So,
kind of. So it's, instead of pulling from the massive Rolodex of really cool kaiju that people have been dying to see get redone, they're just going to make another King Kong, but he's bigger and white and has a scar over his eye, so you know he's evil. And that's it. And also Godzilla has pink spikes now, which it's just like, all right. I'm sure there's some stupid ass plot reason for it, but aesthetically, it is not the look. The pink glow does not go well with the scale. He needs that blue back.
You know what else is not the look? I don't know about our listeners, but I got really tired of we're hearing Will sing about MVPs every week, so we're going away from that. We have a new segment to end the podcast every week now instead of MVPs. Since we're not focusing on wrestling, Shane is going to impart some advice to all of our listeners, and Shane Daniels' life lessons. Shane, take it away.
Guys, when a girl tells you, I just can't find a man on my level, that is code that she is a 5 trying for a 10. And fucked it up. Oh, the 10's out of her league. But she'll settle for a 3 at some point when she's older and miserable and running out of time. She'll take everything you have and leave. Don't be a 0. Be a hero. Get a prenup.
What the fuck?
Hey, prenups are a very important thing if you're a successful male nowadays.
I mean, I think that a prenup should just be a baseline agreed upon thing in literally any marriage, because the way I see it is, regardless, like, if I have a fuckload of money from before this marriage, then I'm sorry, no.
Then I still have a fuckload of money from before this marriage. Yeah.
You know how many dudes don't get prenups, though?
Almost all of them.
Yeah, because they're fucking idiots.
But they're also broke.
Well, you know what? They might actually listen now that they've heard Life Lessons with Shane Daniels.
They don't ever listen any other fucking time.
He's not wrong.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for our debut episode of Not Another Freaking Podcast. And we thank you for riding along with us this whole time as we did Not Another Freaking Wrestling Podcast. But in the future, we're dropping the wrestling, even though, obviously, we're still fucking talking about it. Jake, do they still need to bring money or what?
Yes! They always need to bring money.